Hey, I have a question for you. Have you built yourself up a sustainable business or have you built yourself a high paying, stressful job for yourself? What's up there, guys? Is here once again with Get Busy LLC, helping contractors and home service business owners understand the internet, how to use it properly to help them generate leads for their businesses. And in this video, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about business in general and where you are in business as compared to where you want to be. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because obviously I'm a business owner now myself. I'm a digital marketing agency. I help contractors, home service business owners with website design, SEO service, paid ads, that sort of thing. That's what I do now. And as I'm starting to grow my business now, I know that you as a business owner also want to grow your business. And a lot of it has to do with your brain and the mindset you have behind business. And the reason I started off my video by asking if you are actually building a legitimate business or if you are building out a high paying, stressful job for yourself, is because I remember reading a book called The E Myth by Michael Gerber. If you haven't read this book, in my opinion, if you're a contractor of any kind or home service business provider, you have to read this book. And the reason this book is, I remember the headline of the book was something about why most small businesses fail and what you can do about it. And the way the guy outlines it's basically a story. And he talks about a lady who owns a pie shop and how she is just absolutely stressed out of her mind. Somebody told her she's really, really good at making pies, that she should build up her own business. And that's exactly what the lady did. But the problem is that she ended up working 12-hour days, 14-hour days, night and day. She did every aspect of the business and she was just running herself to the ground. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I remember as a truck driver, as a concrete ready mix driver, I remember the two different distinctive types of contractors that were out there. There was the ones that were business owners, and there was the ones that basically built a prison for themselves where they're stressed out and they run every aspect of their business. And that's when I remembered what this book was talking about, which I've read it twice, and I think I'm going to read it again. Actually, I listen to books. I'm not a very good reader, so being in a truck, it was easy to read these books. Anyways, and the reason I wanted to make this video because I want to share you guys a story just from my personal perspective because I've been around for a while, and now reading that book and understanding, now I can look back and understand some of the situations some of these contractors placed themselves in. So these are two different contractors, right? Like I said, being in a small town, some of these guys I know, some of the guys I went to high school with, they started their own concrete business. But two contractors, they were completely different. Now, both contractors they were doing at the time when I was driving the truck, they were doing very, very well for themselves. It's not like they were struggling to get leads. They do great work. They produce some awesome flat work. They do custom work. They do all kinds of stuff with just overall concrete, right? But both of them were very, very, very different. One of them, I remember, like I said, I'm not going to say names or business names or anything like that. It's just stories that I remember distinctly. One of these contractors, right? I remember because we poured a lot of concrete for a lot of these guys. They always had big projects, and I remember pulling up to this first contractor, the one that had more of a business mindset, right? I'd pull up to his jobs, and he always had his crew out there. They were good at what they did. They were great. Like I said, they always did great work. I mean, rarely did I ever see the actual owner of that business, right? It was rare that I would see him. He'd pull up with his truck once in a while, but he didn't look like he was a contractor. But he owned that business, and that business did extremely well. He said he had his crew, he had his foreman, he had all his equipment, he had his trucks with logos. All those guys had the gear on and everything. And I remember talking to his employees, and his employees were extremely happy to work for him. He said, "Man, it's great working with this guy. We got stable work, we got a stable job. He gives us company picnic in the summer. We have Christmas parties in the winter. We feel like a family with this place. We really like working here." And it showed with the way the quality of the work they did, and the workers were like, you could just tell they were happy to work there. Now, on the other hand, had this other contractor, like I said, in my opinion, are just as successful, like money wise, to me, because like I said, we pour a lot of concrete for these guys, and to me, it seemed pretty equal. We were always going to about the same amount of concrete volume these guys were doing. But this other contractor, he looked extremely wore out. He looked tired. He looked stressed out. Sometimes he looked frustrated. And he was a really cool guy. I remember him. I talked to him all the time. And I noticed a completely different scenario with him, right? He had one or two employees that were regular guys for him, and sometimes they weren't there, sometimes they were there. But I remember he used to tell me that he used to hire guys from the temp agencies, those temporary employee agencies, right? So he'd get his crews from there. So he didn't have the same crews all of the time. Some of these guys he paid cash, and he was always in the trenches. He was always out there. He was actually screeding the concrete. He was finishing the concrete. He was setting up the forms. He was calling the ready mix plant for the concrete. He was dealing with the customers. He was setting up the jobs. He would order the concrete pumps. He had control of every aspect of his business, and he just looked completely wore out. And sometimes I talk to him like when he's finishing up a job. I say, "How's it going, man?" He said, "Oh man, I'm all, do you ever have a hard time finding work?" He's like, "Hell no." He's like, "I have plenty of work. I have to ignore calls." He's like, "But I'm just stressed. This is a lot, man." He's like, "You think I'm done after?" Because he was finishing the concrete. He's about, it was already like getting dark. It was kind of around this time in the fall weather. He's all, "When you get home, you're done, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely, man. Just get home, watch a ball game, just hang out." He's all, "Not me, man. I still got to get home and I got to answer all these messages, all these missed calls. I got to answer all my messages I got. I got to deal with my payroll. I got to pay this bill. I got to pay that. I got to schedule this. I got to schedule that. I got to manage my books. I got to set aside money for this. And on top of that, I still got all my family things I have to do. It's just, so this is, I remember the guy telling me exactly, this is why I drink every effing night. I have to drink. He's all, my favorite drink is Coronas. And I have to drink them every night just to help me deal with it. But the guy worked his ass off with his business. But sometimes he tell me himself, he's like, I don't even know if it's all worth it, doing all this stuff. Just the amount of the things that I have to juggle on an everyday basis. He's like, I never stop. It's pretty much 7 days a week I have to work. And like I said, on the other hand, the other guy, never saw him around. He looked super chill, super relaxed, looked like he enjoyed everything that he was doing. And this is what this whole book is all about, the E Myth, right? And the author of the book talks about how a lot of business owners end up being people that were extremely good workers. Let's say a roofer, right? A roofer that used to work for another roofer, and he always felt like he could do a better job. Didn't like his boss, didn't like the way things were going. He's like, I can do my own thing. So he goes out and does his own roofing, and they're exceptional at what they do. The only problem is that they have way too much. They still have the mindset of an employee, and they take that with them when they create that business. So they want to manage every aspect of their business, which ends up creating this massive trap for them that eventually just eats them up. And this is why so many businesses just end up failing and closing. So this is why this book is really, really good. The way he explains it, he talks about when you're building a business, there's basically three types of people. He calls them the entrepreneurial mindset, the technician mindset, and the middle one I can't remember right now. Something to do with bookkeeping. Nobody's good at that, right? But mainly it's these two different types. The entrepreneurial mindset is the type of mindset that you need to have when you build a business as compared to the technician, the guy who does everything. Because the entrepreneurial mindset, what it does is they create a vision. They want to build their business in a way where they're hands free. They might be in it for a while doing this, building every aspect of it. But eventually, what they want to do is take the hands off the wheel and let this thing run for itself. And they want to build it in a way where it's potentially got the potential to be sold because he's the actual owner is not involved with every aspect of the business any longer. And in the book, he talks a lot about Ray Kroc, who built McDonald's and structured a business model that was able to be duplicated, and you can hire employees that would do every aspect of the job. Same thing with 1-800 Got Junk. The owner of that guy, same thing. He started off as a technician, wanted to do everything, and I studied him a little bit when it comes to business, and he modeled his business over like Ray Kroc, kind of like Mr. Gerber talks about in the E Myth, where he's like, you know what? If I want to make this thing work, I have to build systems. I have to build a brand. I have to build something where I can eventually get my hands off the wheel and let this thing run for itself. So this is why I just wanted to make this video, just a random rant, just to kind of make you think, because I'm in business myself, and I know eventually I want to build something that I can be hands off, have it run by itself, and still produce a great product or great service for my customers. And I'm sure you as a contractor want to do the same. If you don't care if you're a concrete guy, a roofer, a plumber, a junk removal business owner, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want to give something that's a damn good service or a great product for the end user, but you want to do it in a systemized way where you can spend more time with your family, spend more time enjoying life. As you get older, spend more time with your grandkids. Maybe you want to sell the whole damn thing and just eject and retire when it's all said and done. Either way, the last thing you want to do is build yourself a prison where you're working 7 days a week, 13, 14, 15-hour days because you still have the mindset of an employee. You have to get the mindset of an entrepreneur. So that's why I recommend that book, The E-Myth by Mr. Gerber. And that's basically all I wanted to share with you guys in this video. Just something to think about when you're in business. So if you guys need any help with this, your online stuff, your website, your Google business profile, your SEO, Google ads, I got a bunch of all that stuff and some freebies in my description below, a bunch of links there. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Until next time.